Hi everyone, today we will talk about the notes, the tonal material in Indian classical music. Doesn't matter of or north or south, just the notes which are used and how they are named in Indian classical music. So let's get right into that. A very, very special feature in Indian classical music is that our tonic, our root of a scale, of a composition, of the improvisation, whatever, stays always the same. So if we play a sarod or a sitar, for example, our root will always be the same place on the instrument. And also the resonance strings and everything, our root will always be at that string. So it's always, you can say we play different kinds of scales, but we always be in the same key, in the sense that we never change the tonic. The root of the scale throughout the whole life of an Indian musician. So you might say, "Oh, that's very simple. That's primitive," but don't say that, because on other aspects, this is like one of the highest cultural developments you find in that music. So it's always like that, you know. You make something, for example, Western harmony, Western music is actually like the tonal system of just 12 notes without microtones and anything. It's just very simple. You can do, but you, on the other hand, with simplify one aspect, you can go into more very, very complicated stuff with other aspects. That's usually the way music is constructed, that there's a focus on certain elements, and where you really where things really evolve and really like getting really complicated, and to develop to a very high sophistication, to a very high degree, whereas other aspects are not really so prominent. Like, for example, also in the Western music, like the rhythmical aspect, usually this 3/4 or 4/4 bars, for example, it's actually quite simple. You could also say that's kind of primitive if you compare it to other cultures. Anyway, we talk about the notes of the Indian classical music, and there's one thing we have to consider in a way, that's shrutis. And in general, we just have the same tonal system as you have in the Western music. You have 12 individual pitches, and you take 7 pitches out of that to form your basic scale. And these scales are like are a bit more bit different sometimes, but in general they also have like the root, the second degree, the third degree, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh degree. It's all normally it's there, and if not, it's I mean, it also can happen in Western music, and like when you have like pentatonics or something like that. There are like octatonics, like half tone, whole tone scale, or just 6-note scales like whole tone scale. I mean, there are a lot of possibilities, but the most natural, the most basic thing you maybe find in all cultures around the world is maybe either pentatonic, but mostly heptatonic, mostly like the scale-based thing. Like you have a kind of a C, a kind of a D, a kind of an E, an F, G, A, B, and these are your 7 notes you deal with. All right, so that's no different in Indian classical music. In Indian classical music, you have added to that, you have the system of shrutis. That means like the intonations of individual pitches. And I made a lesson actually already on that. It's in A0025. That's the number of that lesson, and it's like episode 4. There also you have a PDF which goes into shrutis. If you're interested in that, please check out that lesson, that video, or that PDF. Okay, but shrutis in Indian classical music are, maybe there are exceptions, maybe there are other, but what I heard and what I learned so far is that these are like different intonations of notes, but they're really not that drastic as, for example, in Turkish classical music. Also, the system of shrutis is very controversial, discussed between like scientists and musicians. And there's not really like this, what you have, for example, in Turkish classical music, there's the system of dividing the octave into 53 parts. It's more, you have the standard, as in the West, the standard notes, the standard scales, but there are like slight variations, intonation with pitches. And certain pitches have a bit more possibilities, or a bit more, maybe more drastic, and others you can't change at all. Yeah, so actually what you just should know, it's no different than our Western system, equal temperament, 12 notes, but there are some slight changes in intonation, but usually it's quite possible to show most of the ragas on a piano, for example. But of course, you miss a lot of maybe ornamentations, but this subtle intonations, of course, they also give sometimes a really different mood. Yeah, sometimes you can assign, for example, a certain intonation of the flat second degree to having more this mood of day, and the other have more this mood of night. Just I will go into that later, but yeah. So of course they make a difference. You know that they make a difference, these shrutis. But normally, what you say when you are studying Indian raga music and you have a certain rag, then you say, be careful, in that rag the flat second degree is a little bit higher, yeah, or a little bit lower. So be careful about that. Listen to that where it is, and then mostly the intonation where you find the pitch is not very far off the original pitch. I mean the equal temperament pitch. So it's not something you have to consider too much in a way. I mean, of course, when you really go into the music, and it's of course quite interesting and quite yeah. I mean, it's sure it's important. Shrutis are important, but as I said, it's more subtle, and it's there's also no real system of that. Everybody has a bit his own or her own concept. Okay. But let's go not into that. As I said, this is was a topic already of another video. We talk about the pure notes, the pure names of the notes where music is constructed. So we have, as I said, we never change the root. So we give the root a name. It's sa, yeah, or saja. It's like sa is a short abbreviation form of saja, and sa is actually our root. And later on, I will also In another video, I will talk a little bit about the tambura. That's tambura. It's the drone instrument, which also, when you play Indian music, this thing like whoa, it's always going through in the background. So you always have this sa as a reference or a context, yeah, like reference of everything you do. Okay, so you have sa, that's a first degree, the root. Then you have re or re sharp, that's a second degree. Then you have ga, third degree. Ma is the fourth degree. Pa, fifth degree. Da, sixth degree. Ni, seventh degree. And then you come to sa again. So sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. These are the syllables, and they are very much, you can very much compare them with the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. In the Western solfege system. And when you just say sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa, you don't add anything, then it's actually the major scale. So it's like sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa, ni, da, pa, ma, ga, re, sa. Yeah, these are the pitches of the major scale. So it's like C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now you can alter the pitches, and all the pitches I sang now, yeah, like root, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, perfect octave. They're all called should. So like in a way, it's like the natural note. Yeah, it's you can associate that with a natural sign also. It's just the natural note, referring to the white notes on the piano keyboard, or just the plain notes without any alteration. Now what you can do is you can alter all the major intervals to minor intervals, and you say it's komal then. Komal is actually a flat. So when you say komal re, yeah, then you say it's not a D. When you start with C, it's a D flat. And you have komal ga, yeah, minor third. You have komal da, minor sixth, and komal ni, minor seventh. Now you also have one, it's called tivra. Tivra is like sharp, but it's only that only happens on ma, on the fourth degree. So you can have a ma, a should ma, that's the fourth degree, F when you count from C, but you also can have a tivra ma, which is an F sharp, so like a tritone counting from C. And that note, the tivra ma, is the only name for this tritone degree. In the West, we say sometimes oh no, it's not a sharp 5, it's a sharp 4. Sorry, flat 4. It's a sharp 4. No, it's a flat 5. In Indian music, and that's very interesting also, you never alter the root and the fifth. They are always perfect. And this is something also we already discussed in the videos on tonal framework. Yeah, and also when you just skip that, the whole concept of tonal framework, and you just think about the harmonic series, then you know the prominence of the fifth, of the perfect fifth, of the fifth degree. When it comes to shrutis, you all also have another adjectives. You say, for example, you say ati komal, that means very flat. Or tivratar means very sharp. Yeah, so that's something you also have, but it's it's also, it already goes into a more special thing about also shrutis and things. When you a very important technique, a very important thing in Indian classical music is singing on these syllables, sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. So you sing a sa ga re ma ga re sa ni sa. You sing on these syllables. It's called Sargon, and this is not only like in the West, this do re mi fa sol concept. It's not only for practicing. Of course, it's very great for practicing. It's a huge part of an Indian classical musician, or especially a singer, is dedicated to singing on these, using these syllables. But it's also a kind of a performance style, yeah, or like one part in a performance can be like the sargam, this singing on these syllables. So it's also like a very musical, and it really happens in a concert situation, in real music. And when you sing on the syllable sargama padanisa, when you sing that, you don't care about tivra or komal. You don't say like shud sa komal re. You don't say that. You say sa re. Yes, you just say the plain syllable without any addition. But you sing, of course, you sing the right pitch and you sing the right function. So it's all there. I just want to say, it's just, you always sing sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, but these can actually be different notes. So you can sing, for example, sa re ga ma ga re sa ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa ma pa da pa ma ga re sa, for example. Yeah. So you use like komal re and komal da in this raga, but you can also sing like sa re ga ma da pa ma ni da pa na ni re sa ni da pa ma da pa ma ga re sa ni re sa. Yeah, so this was a kind of a Lydian or Yaman raga scale. So I used different notes, I sang different notes, but I kept my syllables the same. So whether I sing a koma re or a shud re or a tivrama or ma, I stick to the same syllables. So that's a system. If you want to have that all on one sheet, all the different names and what I just talked about, you should download this PDF. Just go down in the description below. There's a link. So this would be also supporting my channel. Would be really cool. Thanks. And also you can donate by going to my website, hupildenbrand.com. There's a button where you can donate. And yeah, that's it for this lesson. We will go on a little bit more with different concepts from Indian music, classical music, but we will also talk about this application or in music in general, or how we can use these concepts in music in general. Okay, thanks for watching. My name is Huub Hildenbrand.